It's the Not Your Average Guy show.
which sometimes turns out to be very average,
Live, if you're watching right now,
Or below average.
below average.
and well, I mean, what if we're not your average guys, and we have an off night? Think of how that must make average guys feel.
Man, yeah. I mean, yeah. If they watch
That's
it,
heavy.
if you're an average guy and you watch this, you probably feel terrible about yourself.
And you're like, that's the bar for not average.
And I'm
Yeah.
below. Like, what if you were below average?
We could be doing the
man.
world a disservice.
Yeah, we could be. Ouch.
Anyway, what were you saying last night? You were at a cocktail party, Dan?
I was at a 40th birthday party.
Do we do those?
40th birthday party?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
40th birthday
And
party.
and we were at their house. I think everybody else had left at like 11:30. We ended up there till like, well, you didn't get home till almost 1. And it was
Dang.
it was a little, it started at like 7:30 and we ended up getting home at 1.
Okay.
So it's a little much for me these days.
That's a lot. We had a party. Darcy and I were at a birthday party last night. But it got
And
over,
tonight.
and tonight. It got over, both of them got over before 10 o'clock.
Yeah. There was
Yeah.
a kid birthday parties,
No.
apparently.
I was home by 10. I was home by 10:15 last night. Yep.
Old people party.
Yeah.
Unless we called it the same party and it went 2 evenings.
Well, kind
It
of
might have started. It might have started yesterday afternoon and didn't
just
end
ended.
until
Yeah.
30 minutes ago.
That is true.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got a
So-
full night's sleep in between.
I've got a story. I've got a story for you guys. When
Okay.
Darcy comes back, if he ever comes
You?
back,
I'm still here.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell the story, even if a person from our church might be watching, because it's like I still can't mentally like quite get over it. Okay. And I'm not
Okay.
trying to be
I'm
not
excited.
trying to be overly dramatic
Yeah,
here,
I'm super
but
excited. You got me all hyped up to hear this thing.
well, so first of all, if you want to be hyped up, I led worship on Sunday, and
Nice.
we do typically they do like 2 songs, and then they like have well, really they do 3 songs. They just call the 3rd song the communion song, and then they do communion. So I guess the idea is
You guys do
like the
communion every week?
Yeah, every week. We're real Christians, guys.
That's
we-
real Christian for sure.
We do
Oh, good.
communion every week. But we might not be real because we use the shot glasses, which I'm not a big fan of at all. After you get away from the shot glass communion deal, it seems so weird. Even a year into going to this church, it's like, dude, like who thinks that this,
Really?
Have you? Well, you guys have both been going to the same church. Do you guys do the shot glasses?
I mean, they're little disposable things.
Now we got the whole pre-packaged thing nowadays.
Oh, they've got a few of those. They usually offer a few of those, but those are the same size as a shot glass. So you guys are into the coffee creamer.
Wait, so you want to do like the chalice that you pass around and everyone takes a drink out and then
No.
passes it to the next person?
No, what we
That's what you would
have
prefer?
done. What I prefer, I guess, is they do a communion. It's probably a little
BYOB?
bit closer. It's probably a little closer to a Catholic in that you go up and you actually tear a piece of bread off and dip it in the communal cup, and then you eat your bread. So
Okay.
you're going up kind of
You're
Catholic-ish. You're not all like drinking out of the same chalice.
so you're kind of you're like commemorating the Judas version of communion,
Yeah, I guess.
So
But
you say
but
that's your
dipping
preference?
that sop,
what I'm saying is
or that's what you're used to.
it I growing up, we were into the shot glass communion. Like we were Baptist and Bible church people, and we did shot glass communion. And then I started going to like a big kid church whenever I was older, and they did like something. Here's the thing. Okay. You guys do the shot glass, basically. You do the creamer cup version of the shot glass. But here's the
Uh-huh.
thing. If you left it and you went to a church, it wouldn't take you very long to be like, yeah, something like this is probably closer to what the early church did. It's not likely that they
Oh.
like made little shot glasses in the early church and were like, let's take a little sip of wine out of our little shot glasses and then dispose of them. You know what I mean? Like think about how like contrary to anything traditional it really is, not because in your lifetime that is the tradition, but like in the span of Christendom. Like pre-made communion wafers with the cross on them or shot glasses, like these things are not traditional ways of being in
I don't think
in the
that
Yeah.
church.
anything in the modern church is traditional.
There's not
Air
a lot of things.
conditioning,
If you
padded
get
chairs,
way down to it.
video
Sure.
cameras.
Sure. But here's the thing. None of those things that you just mentioned are one of only two sacraments in the church. None of those other things are
True.
one of only two prescriptive sacraments,
Sure.
baptism and communion. That's it. Like there's not anything else that's like part of an actual long-standing tradition in the church. I think everything else is like
Yeah, but we baptize in a freaking trough in the.
okay. Let me, if you want to hear my thing on baptism, honestly, I think baptism should be like actually a public thing. Like maybe like the most ideal place for a person to be baptized is like at the county fair. Like somewhere
At the
where
city
there's
pool.
more than just people that you go to church with. You know what I'm saying? Like where you make a public profession and you publicly get baptized. Am I like, like I'm weird that way. I'm like, wait, do you think that they
That's why we put it on the internet.
do you think they had communion dunk tanks back in the? Yeah, and all the people that also watch your church on the internet watch it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Jims, what was that? How was the sorry, Dan, should we not take a side trail yet?
I was just gonna say that whole thing was a side trail from my story, but you go ahead.
Oh, so we can keep going on the side trails. What was that church up there in Wisconsin that you really enjoyed their baptism service?
Yeah, so
What was that?
it was
I
a
can't remember
Wesleyan
what you were telling me. You told me all about it.
church.
Wesleyan.
So, like, I don't know, every summer they do a outside at a lake baptismal service, and they just have a gathering of people in the next to the lake, and each person that's getting baptized gets up in front of everyone and tells them why they're getting baptized today. And then once that happens, all of those people and a couple of pastor people walk out into the lake, and they just start dunking them right there in the lake. And then they come back up out of the lake and everybody eats ice cream.
I went to one like that the other day, actually. It was a pond
It was pretty cool.
right before winter.
the whole
Yeah.
thing lasted a few hours, and it was just, I don't know, it was pretty neat.
Yeah. All right. So you ready to hear you ready to hear Sunday service? So I do 2 songs, and I kind of just like I don't
What songs?
actually. Well,
You don't remember?
I'm embarrassed to say what one of them was
Let's
because
hear it.
I don't like the
Oh,
song, but people like it. 10,000 Reasons was one of the songs.
I thought that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I do not like this song, but people ask for that song all the
Yeah.
time. And I'm just like, well, at least I don't have to practice like this, this week. What was the other one? The other one was like one of those Stuart Townsend, Christ Alone or something like that. I don't remember. But it was like a Stuart Townsend. Is that right, Stuart Townsend? He writes like modern hymns.
I think that's Getty.
Okay.
Christ Alone.
Well, this one, whatever one it was like one of that type of deal that like sounds like an old hymn, but it's written by Stuart Townsend or Getty. I don't remember. Yeah. So anyway, so I do the 2 songs, and I don't do the stage. Like there's actually 2 monitors. I don't know. There's like 2 monitors. Like there's the podium. There's 2 monitors. And so like people are looking at the words either kind of up this way or up that way, right? I don't get in the middle of the stage. I just have my whole get up, my amp and everything off to the side instead of like being like a fixture. I'm just doing the song as part of the worship service, right? Okay, so first of all, the pastor is gone, so the guy who's like kind of like emceeing the service doesn't do it much. And he gets up and announces that I'm going to do the song that I'm going to do. And then he, with his microphone, stays on stage.
And sings along.
Yeah.
Nice.
But Sarah said,
In Christ Alone is a
like,
Stuart Townsend song.
Sarah said he moved the mic farther away from his mouth so that they stopped hearing him after he started the song, which he didn't start the song because I started the song because I was playing guitar using like a backing track and leading worship, right? Like, so I was like, honestly, I was a little weirded out because I would look out of the corner of my eye to try to figure out when he was going to go off stage, and he just never did. And then when I finished the song, no sooner had I finished the song, he announced I was doing another song and told him the name of it. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, this is awkward a little bit. But like the thing is, like I talked to him for like
was it
10
a
minutes
song that you were
service.
supposed to do a little bit later?
No, it was just he just said the next song
It was
that we're
just a
going to do
song
is
he
the
wanted
name of the
you to
song,
do.
and it was the song. It turned out to be the song I was getting ready to do. You know, so it was a little clunky. Let's put it that way, right?
Is this online so I can go watch it?
Yeah, you can go watch it. Westline Community Church or Westline Christian Church. Sorry.
Oh yeah, them Christians like to do that communion every week, don't they?
So okay, so here's the thing. So like I get done with that song, and on the bulletin it just says like Memorial Day short video. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna like I have a little bench I can just kind of like lean back on and just kind of like make it obvious that I'm not like leading another song. And I'll just let the video play out. So the video plays out, and it's only like 45 seconds, and it's like one of these like showing pictures of fields and stuff and talking about Memorial Day, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So then the dude that announces and this other guy, they get up and they're gonna do like some, I would say they're like like Memorial Day soliloquies or poems or something. And so they like each did like a little like a back and forth,
Monologue.
almost like a like best actor kind of thing, where the two people kind of go back and forth like talking, but they're reading a script. You know what I mean? Like at the
Mm-hmm.
the movie awards or whatever. Okay, so like cool. And then they're getting ready to walk off the stage, and I get up and I'm like starting to get my stuff going, and then one of them says, "Oh, we haven't actually done this for a few years, but we're going to read the names. That's the total. I'm giving you all the context for what was getting ready to happen." He said, "We're going to read
We're
the
going to read the
names."
names.
That's all he said. And I was like, the names. And then he's like, we are going to take turns. We're going to read back and forth. We're going to read all the names.
All of them.
Because we haven't read all the names for a few years. And I'm thinking like Memorial Day, people died in combat. There can't be that many. Even though this church is 100
From
years
this
old.
church.
Yeah, no, or from the county, or I don't know.
Yeah.
This is not a joke. I am not exaggerating. Sarah would back me up on this. They were over 50 names in, and they were on the C's.
So they're like reading all the names on the wall.
Nobody ever said what was the significance of the names they read. But eventually, like, people's last names that we know from the churches, like lots of Starks and lots of different people I've heard of from around here started surfacing. And I started thinking, man, this is a heck of a lot of people. Hey, there I am. This is a heck of a lot of people from this church that died in wars. And then I thought, and then Sarah's like, dude, all the women who ever died in combat would have had to have gone to this church if that was what the list was. Right? So I'm like on stage, kind of like think I'm supposed to be up there, but I'm like kind of cowering behind a curtain at this point. They read, I think, 250 names with no context. No context for somebody who's like a newcomer. I started questioning what Memorial Day is about halfway through the list, and had to look it up after I got down off the stage eventually.
Virginia Wooden, Jim Smith, Merrill Wooden, J.W. Smith, Geneva Young,
J.W.
Smith, Herschel Young, George Smith, Herschel L. Young.
And how long did this thing go on?
A long time. And I don't think it was just in my head that it was a long time.
I'm going to look it up and see at what minute mark it started and what minute mark it stopped.
Okay. So here's the thing. So I'm like, I got no idea what this list of names is, but it was long. And then at the end, they were like, did we miss anyone? And people started being like, yeah, you missed so-and-so. Oh, no. And they start writing them down. And I think they added 6 to 10 more names to the list on Sunday. One lady, well, you wouldn't be able to hear it on the thing because they wouldn't have been mic'd up. But like one lady added both of her parents and her brother who never went to that church. And I was so confused and honestly a little bit like kind of embarrassed to even ask what, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but it was a weird situation, I think. Like it felt
Our church
like I didn't know what
does.
was happening.
Our church does a list of names, and they announce it for like the 2 weeks ahead of Memorial Day, and they say we we put together a video, so it's like minute and a half maybe
Mm-hmm.
tops, and it's just a video, and they say if you would like to submit your loved one or family member who has passed in the last year, submit it to the office by such and such a day, and we'll add them to the video.
Wait. On what day of the year do they do this?
Memorial Day.
Why? Like,
What
what
they
is
just
your,
do.
okay,
Because
okay,
you think
pause,
about
pause.
you visit
No,
the
pause,
cemetery
pause.
on Memorial Day.
Pause. What is the purpose or meaning of Memorial Day to you, each of you guys? Like, what do you think it is without looking it up?
To me,
What do you think it's commemorating?
It's to remember the fallen
to remember
military.
fallen soldiers.
That's so why would churches, I don't understand. What does that have to do with Memorial
Well,
Day?
because Memorial Day has become the day that you go visit your dead relatives at the cemetery.
No. Don't be dumb.
Yes, it has.
No. Okay, no. That's stupid.
Just like communion has
Dude,
You
become
go
go,
drive by a
no.
cemetery.
Okay,
Go
why?
drive by a cemetery tomorrow,
No,
and you
no.
will see all fresh flowers.
Okay, but think about it.
That's what
Think
it has
about it.
turned into.
Just for a second, think about why you're at the cemetery. You're at the cemetery because there's dead soldiers there and it's Memorial Day. Are you going to skip going to see your relatives, Stone? No, you're not. Because you're already there. But that doesn't mean that that's what it's about.
Correct.
It's like I went
But
to
that's what
town and I got a
we've
Coca-Cola,
added
but
it.
that's not why I went to town.
Yeah, but
I went to
everything.
town to
Well,
get
why'd you go to
something else,
town?
and I said nails. I got nails, but I got a Coca-Cola while I was there. So
Christmas
that
is
doesn't
about
mean that's the
Santa
meaning
Claus.
of the trip. Why would your church participates in this nonsense too?
Mm-hmm.
11
What?
minutes and
They
26
list
seconds, Dan.
They read it. They read it.
list rank.
Wait, you're
They
saying they read
list
it for 11
rank.
minutes? That's a long list.
That was
They
that was
list
reading the
rank
names,
and
I
service.
stopped at when they started asking the congregation for more names.
So it was a 20-minute ordeal.
Yeah.
I do not understand. I don't understand why. How did that? Are people just dumb? That's not what Memorial Day is. That's the Day of the Dead you're thinking of.
When's that?
I don't have any idea. I don't know. When's the Day of the Dead?
October.
It's the week
October
before.
31st.
No, it's like a week before Halloween, isn't it?
I think so. Oh no. Isn't it? It might be during Mardi Gras. March. Or February.
Okay, it's November 1st. Saturday, November 1st
after.
to Sunday, November 2nd this year.
So it's after Halloween.
This year it is. It's some of those have to do with like the summer, not the summer, the winter solstice, and
solstice.
stuff. And so it may or may not
Summer solstice, winter
equinox.
Equinox.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you get how does
Here's the
something
thing,
that
Dan.
Okay, Jack. Here's my thing.
What you got,
I
Jack?
can understand having something that's like, here's what this is set for, and because of certain circumstances, we're going to extend it to a slightly larger group of people. Like, let's say that your uncle died of Agent Orange poisoning years after he got out of Vietnam. Okay. He died. Let's just be generous and just go, he died of his injuries that he received in Vietnam. I'm not a stickler on this. I'll grant you that. But like being like, well, I'm in the Lord's army and I'm dead.
Well,
That's
why
not
isn't
a
that
thing.
good enough?
I may
There's a freaking
never.
song about it, dude.
I know, but seriously, like,
You should sing that song on Memorial
Practically
Day.
scripture.
so
Oh,
you think
totally should.
so your opinion is that their tradition is right because it's common. That's your contention.
No.
And then I'm overreacting because I was on stage awkwardly for 20 minutes of reading names.
There may be something to that.
Like,
you were kind of caught in the crossfire.
I'm like, how do you, like, you can only have a synth going and play G A minor C so many times before.
Oh, you were
playing that
playing
entire
background
time?
for
Dude, I
for it?
almost was.
Oh my
I was like in my mind, I was like getting ready and I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this. And then I was like, I'm just going to see how this plays out first. And then I was like really glad that I didn't start playing.
Yeah,
Not that
15
they-
minutes in, your
Oh,
fingers
man.
might be worn out.
Can you imagine?
So what did
So
you mention
you
it?
think I'm overreacting, even though you admit that this is not what this holiday's about.
Oh, sure.
Like, you ever submitted a
Yeah,
name
I think that. No,
yourself? No?
no.
I think it was going to
I'm
be
not gonna.
pretty. I was
I'm
starting to
not going
think
to
it would be.
participate.
When the one lady said her parents and her brother, I was
Wait,
like,
hold up.
we should put
Did
our
you-
parents and brother on there. And then 100 years from now, we're going to be
I was gonna
gone from
say.
here, and they're still going to be on the list.
And someone else would be like, "What are we
What?
doing?
500 names in. What are we doing?
Who's Rob Mock?"
Who's Rob Mock? Where did that guy come from?
Who's Dan Mock?
I don't want to be on the list. I don't want my name read on a list on a day that was not meant to celebrate me.
Man,
But
I
don't
do
you
have-
have a military shirt on?
if I get a say,
I have a green shirt with a flag on it. That doesn't mean I died in combat,
If you served your country.
bro.
if I get a say, and you go before me, I'm gonna try to get them to engrave your service in the Lord's Army dates.
on my brass tombstone.
I didn't read the names on the screen, but was old Dave Ruckles' name up there?
Yeah.
Did he die
It
in
was.
combat?
No,
Nah, he died of cancer.
he was fighting that pretty hard.
Yeah.
Was it a Taliban? Was it Taliban cancer? Like, what are we
Yeah.
talking about here?
Throat
Stomach
cancer.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
stomach, throat.
why are we like? What does it have to do with combat?
It
He's
doesn't. It
fighting.
has to do with memory.
Just me remembering.
Why don't I?
What day do we
Oh.
do that? Just remember other people that were that were dear to us.
Every day. I don't feel like, to me, the relationship that I have with people who have passed changes if their name isn't read on a list on a day that was not meant to celebrate them in front of a bunch of people that don't know them.
Well, Dan, I feel like I have to remind you, and I was reminding Jimmy of this also tonight, that you're just not your average guy.
Okay. But like, if let's say you were the pastor, you guys, like, I'm not trying to put you in a bad, awkward situation because I'm already throwing myself under the bus. They may not want me to lead worship. They're like, oh, you don't like standing up there awkwardly while we read our names? You're out. And be like, all right. But like if you were the person who was like in charge of a church service, would you or would you not feel a little obligated to be like, this holiday wasn't established for this thing that we're doing?
Yeah, I would say if I had anything to do with it and I put this much thought into it,
I mean, if
would
you're doing the service,
probably,
you'd have to.
and people wanted to do something like that, I would probably suggest like around New Year's doing something like that. If we're like thinking of all the people that we've lost this past year.
Yeah. Like that. Like you could like make up your own day to do that. Right?
Uh-huh.
Like, here's my question. Okay, did you know that?
Because all the everything else.
We could also do it on
Sunday.
Good Friday.
You could do it on Good Friday. Yeah. Or Easter Sunday. You could have a sunrise service and you could read the names of all of the saints who have gone before. All of
the
them,
people that
like we
didn't
did.
come back to life.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah. All of them who were raised to newness of life.
We're celebrating all the people who died, and especially the one that came back alive.
Like, so here's the weird thing about, let me throw this out to you. Here's the weird thing about it. Like, there's not anything that you will find, well, anything. There's not a case for these types of things. You know what I mean? Like, if you look it up, nowhere does it say this holiday has morphed into this other thing. That's just like odd that I never even knew about things like this. I went to a church this Sunday who did this, and you said your church not fully, but like also does it. Like, where did that get started? I don't get it.
Yeah, our church has done that for
know.
years, and I've always thought it was a little weird that we were not only remembering people
that we were
died, but even people that don't go to our church, like so-and-so's great uncle who no one has ever even met died, and we're put it on a screen in front of our congregation.
Yeah. I mean, 3 of the people that were added to their list that was already 12 minutes long read bam, 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 2 people reading the list. 3 of the people that were added to the list have never gone to that church. And they're never going to.
They might.
No,
You never know, man. You never know.
no, I know. The reason they got on the list is because they're already dead. Their chance to go to that church is over.
Yeah, but what if they have like a funeral service there or something?
If your aunt had a wiener, she'd be your uncle.
Speaking of people dying, my
What if? Like, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, you're right. My uncle,
Your aunt or your uncle?
well, he used to be my uncle, and he's still my uncle.
Okay.
But he could be my
For now.
aunt someday. He adopted some kids when they were little kids, like 15 years ago. And the kid's mom just died like a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And my mom called, told me whatever. I never met this girl. Whatever her name is, she died.
He had no relationship with her.
No. They were
It was
neighbors.
like my sibling's mom, like my adopted sibling's mom. Okay.
Yeah. And they
Got it.
knew like the kids knew her a little bit, but they didn't that's not their mom, but
Yeah.
they know of her and they've done stuff with her and whatever. Well, she died. Well, then my mom calls me today and says, "Hey, Cassie and Sydney's mom, your dad is probably going to get her kidney." I was like, "I thought she died like 3 days ago." Like, "Oh, well, yeah, but they're keeping her on life support so they can
Wait,
part
did she
out her organs."
she commit suicide?
No, she died from, I forget what it was, aneurysm or something.
Oh, so it was like not a kidney failure. He's getting your kidney. Wait, I don't know that
Something weird like that. So now,
No, I'm sure it's gonna be fine in a new body.
now this girl's been dead for 3 or 4 days. They're talking about pulling her kidneys out and giving them to my dad.
Was your dad on the list at the particular hospital and it's just all lined up?
No, he was not on the list at the particular hospital, but
He doesn't even need a kidney, huh?
he doesn't even need one.
He's
He
already
just
had
wants
one.
hers because she's younger. No, they were like, they contacted and said, "Hey, we want to see if this will work." And so they're trying
Your
to figure it out.
dad's doing it right now?
Yeah,
How long
they're
can
doing-
they keep a kidney on ice?
I don't know.
Not all that long.
Huh.
I mean, that's going to be this week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it'd have to be.
Like tomorrow or
Like
something.
tomorrow. Huh. I
Like
hope this one takes.
the thing I always think of with the organs is like the organ donor is like the paramedics are like running with the cooler all the time. Like every time I see a paramedic running, I think he's probably got a kidney or a
Yeah,
heart
and
or
then
something.
you see him trip and fall, and it goes
You're like,
scattering all over the floor.
And they pick it up, throw
Goes
it back in there,
skidding across the
keep
road.
going. Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Well, that's
Um.
interesting.
I know. I was like, well, I thought she was dead. She is.
She's mostly dead.
Yeah,
Mostly
some-
dead.
Some of her is dead.
There's a difference between
Blades.
mostly dead and all dead.
Completely dead.
Yeah, but then part of her, if the kidney transplant thing works, part of her will not be dead for could be years.
Just keeping her memory alive. Probably have to like wait to read her in to the list till later, till your dad passes.
You gonna add her to the list for next year?
Would you be like if your dad died? would you like
Would you
hyphenate
put
his
both
name
of them
on
on
the
the?
list with her name?
I don't know whose name you put up there. Yeah, maybe.
My dad hyphen these kids' mom hyphen whoever the other kidney donor was that he got before. Interesting.
So weird.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
Oh man,
Well, that was it. That was my whole story. That's all I had.
that was a
Great
good one.
story.
You didn't. I'm surprised and shocked and appalled. I'll probably never go to your church again either. If
You
Mm.
shouldn't.
Making
Unless they start
sacrilege
doing the
of
steak fry
Memorial
again.
Day. And this, yeah, then I might come. Oh man. I also I put a whole deck down today, like decking for a house. And Darcy, Jimmy, you ever frame a house all the way through, like all the different steps? No.
Nope.
Well, there's this one step where you are laying down 4x8 sheets of tongue and groove sheeting, and you got to get a beater board. At least I don't know, maybe you guys used Advantech and you didn't need a beater board, but I'm always getting a 2x4 or 2x6. Are we on the right track, Darcy?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah.
typically, if you're spending somebody else's money, you get a board that's about exactly the same length as a sheet. But if you're
Mhm.
using your own money, you have a scrap that's like 5
You're going
feet
with
long,
like a 3-footer.
and you throw that up there. And so I was trying to slide the board with my foot from one end to the other, and it's laying like the floor joists are like this, and the board is laying here, and I'm trying to slide it to the other end of the
Across
sheet,
the top of the joist.
and then it bumps into the floor joist and kicks up because my weight of my foot is on it, and the board
Oh,
goes
no.
whoop, and I go whoop, and I just banged up my shin hard. And here's the thing, I'm on 19 3/16 spans, not 16-inch spans. So a lot of me went through the gap between
You
the
get you
floor
real
joists.
good right here.
In the ribs and in the shin, and I'm already sore, and it's not even tomorrow yet. And I've still got 36 hours until day 2, which for me is always like the mostest sore after hurting myself. And Judah was standing
36
right there.
hours.
Well, yeah, I did it this morning. I typically, like 2 days later, I wake up and I'm like, oh, this really sucks. Step on my foot and I'm like, like
How many boards in were you when you did that?
probably like 3 rows of, so I was probably 12 sheets, 12. Yeah, three rows, 12 feet from the edge of the deal. Idiot.
Yeah.
And you know what I didn't do? I didn't go get a longer stud and you do what I
You
knew
just
I
went.
should
You
do.
just
I just kept
went
going.
down there and got it back out. Or did you
Mhm.
send Judah down to get it?
No, we left that one down there. We just grabbed another one that we had that was cut down short.
Grabbed another one out from underneath a bunk of plywood.
Yeah. Yeah, it was terrible. Stupid.
So you doing 20-inch center, or what'd you say, 9?
They're like, I think it's like 19 5/16 or something like that is what it, there's
Mhm.
if you have a tape, there's a diamond on it for where it is. And you can't, like, it's nothing, it's not like 16, 32, 48. It's not easy stuff to remember. It's
Mhm.
totally random. But you end up with one fewer joist in
This
an
one doesn't
8-foot
have a
sheet.
diamond. It has a triangle.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Stanley's all have a diamond.
Yeah. I also am doing a truss. So the truss floor is 2x4s on these, like these trusses with the like
Mhm.
webbing between them. And so it really doesn't end up being much over a 16-inch total span for the plywood
In the clear.
in the clear. But tell you what, when you're falling through it, 16.5 inches in the clear is a lot different than 13.5 inches in the clear.
14 and a half.
14.5.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more of you going, like making its way through there without any impairment. But anyway,
Oh man.
Don't do that again.
not till the second
Yeah, you
floor
should
because
probably
I'm done with
limit.
that floor.
You should
now.
probably limit yourself on those type of events.
Okay. I have one more if you guys, I can wait.
Go for it. Go
Okay.
for it.
This
Always a
is
fun
another dilemma, a moral dilemma.
Not a Memorial Day.
Uh-oh.
dilemma.
Not a memorial dilemma, but a
Memorial dilemma.
a memorial. Yeah, what you said. So I ordered water line for my property. Did I already tell you guys this?
Not me.
I need inch and a
We
inch and a
talked
half
about
water line to go 700 feet from the road to my house. Because if I don't do inch
Yeah.
and a half, I won't have, I guess I won't have the volume, even though I would have the pressure. And so without the volume, your
Mhm.
pressure will, as soon as you open your tap, it'll drop because you don't have the volume, right? So I ordered up from Menards and I needed a 500-foot roll of 1.5. And then I talked to the city guy and he said, or the water guy, he said you could go down to 1 inch for the rest of the 200 feet and it would be fine. Because you're actually kind of like ductwork, you're kind of gauging it down as you go up there, right? So
Mhm.
I get to Maynard's, they've ordered it. It took like half a month to get in. I get there and we get the pallet out and one of them is all scarfed up and it appears to be cut in half. It appears to be two 250-foot rolls.
Hmm.
And I'm like, but I ordered a 500-footer. If I'd wanted a 300 or a 100, I would have ordered, like, it's $100 a joint for these brass, like heavy duty variable joints. It's not cheap. And I'm like, do you guys want to give me one of those joints? Because they're $100 or $89. And they're like hemming and hawing. They're like, well, we're going to call the distributor. So, or the supplier. So I leave it all there. I don't even pick it up. And then they call me the next day and they're like, hey, we talked to the supplier and they said, this is kind of, I'm paraphrasing what she said. They said, you're being dumb. It's not cut in half. It's two 500-foot rolls. And my response was, doesn't that mean they're being dumb because they sent us two 500-foot rolls? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
She said, well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but she said just come get the better of the two rolls and, just leave the other one. And I'm like, okay, but I want to make a note that if I roll it out and it's 250 feet, you're getting me a 500-footer and like, period. Like, it just is. She's like, yeah, we can do that. Right. So then I get there 2 days later because I had time to go get it. And the guy at the forklift is like, yeah, I saw all those emails back and forth. He's like, they don't seem to know why it's cut in half. Blah, blah, blah. There's not a lot you can do about it. They don't have anything different than that for 500 footers. And so, like, here it is. So I'm like, wait. So she said that they said it was two 500-foot rolls that they shipped and that we were being dumb for thinking it was 250 times 2 is 500. He's saying that they're like, this is all we sell. you take it or leave it, right? And so
Okay.
I'm like, all right. So I'm like, whatever. So I load it all up and I take it back to the house and I get to looking at it and I'm like, this might
2 rolls or
be
1?
2 rolls. Well, there's 3. There's a 1-inch roll that's 300 foot. And then there's 2 rolls that are separate. Oh, and that's what he's like. He's like, they swear up and down that that's not cut in half. And we're loading 2 pieces. He's like, this is obviously two pieces of pipe. And I'm like so confused that I just am like, I don't really have the option to send it back. I need to get it in the ground one way or the other. So I haul it back to the house and I get to looking at it and I'm like, I haven't rolled it out yet, but I'm like, I think it's a lot of pipe. It might be 1,000 feet of pipe for real. So here's the question. The distributor, between the distributor and the Menards, they don't seem to know what
What is there?
is there. Okay. I'm not willing to stake losing half of a 500 foot or $500 roll of pipe by not taking both pieces. Like, if I sign it out, then I said I took 500 feet, whether I roll out 250 feet or not. I haven't rolled it out yet, but I'm leaning toward it being 1,000 feet of pipe that they gave me. If they don't call me, do I just use it? And
I think so.
is
Yeah.
that the,
I mean, it seems like
You
seems
ordered
like it's
500
just
feet,
in
they gave
limbo.
you 1,000.
it's possible. I'm not guaranteeing it, but because it's really hard to tell, because 1.5-inch pipe is not half again bigger than 1-inch pipe. It's like volumetrically speaking, it's like 3 times as much pipe coiled up. And so it's very hard to tell when,
What all's going on?
right, it's very hard to tell what's going on with it.
I think
But here's,
you take back the 300-foot roll, hopefully,
so here's the other thing.
and get your money back.
It's all special order and you have to pay a 20% restock fee. So here's what I'm kind of thinking about doing. All right. I'm kind of thinking if I roll out that pipe and it really is 500 feet,
Mm-hmm.
part of me is like, I could call them and be like, hey, you gave me too much pipe. Do you want me to bring it back? Part of me is just like, you know what? You guys are idiots. You don't know what you're like, between you and the distributor. If you didn't want me to take this pipe, you'd have taken it off of my pallet as soon as you heard that it was wrong. And so I don't think that they knew for sure. Like, I think she thought she knew what they were saying. The other guy had a totally different sense of what they were saying. And he was the guy who sent them photos of it. I'm kind of thinking if it rolls out and there's 1,000 feet of pipe, I'm going to run water line all the way to the back of my property.
Yeah.
And just keep digging. Just once I go past the house with the trencher, just go all the way up the hill and have,
Go up to the tiny house.
yeah, well, sort of, yeah. Like I technically can't hook it up to water, but if I could fill the systems with just a garden hose, that would be pretty handy. No more hauling IBCs. Is that wrong? Like,
yeah.
I feel a little bit wrong just being like, you know what? If they don't ever figure it out. And here's the thing. If they called me tomorrow and they said, we are sure we sent you too much pipe and we need it back, I'd be like, I will bring it back after I roll it out and it's twice as much
And see
pipe
how
as I
much
need.
is there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing it back today. You can't have it today because
No.
I have not verified the status of my roll of pipe.
Yeah, you told me that this is how much I ordered.
Right.
even though I told you I don't think it is. And then you made me confused enough to to trust you that this is what I'm supposed to have.
Well, that it's my only option. Like,
Yeah.
because I didn't really want a joint. I didn't really want a joint
Right.
in a run of pipe going under my land. And I was like,
No.
well, if I'm gonna have to have a joint, then it should be the joint where it goes from 1.5 to 1, just because it has to get down in size at some point, you know.
Dude, if you can run 1.5 all the way, that'd be great.
According to my calculations, I would have, if I ran 1.5 all the way to the house and continued it up, and then ran 1 at the end of that pipe up to the top of the hill, I would have like 14 gallons per minute up there.
There'd be some good pressure up there.
Yeah. And like, then if you put you put gardens, or you got something you want to irrigate up there, you could always do it.
Heck yeah.
Fruit
Your
trees,
trees.
you're trying to grow some trees, those persimmon trees or whatever. Yeah. But it's not something I want to spend
Or
an
if you
extra
want to like
$500 on.
let somebody park their trailer back there and hook it up.
Oh,
You could put a septic
funny.
tank out there and a water spigot out there, and then you could start charging people to park their RVs out there.
yeah. Yeah. Long term.
Well,
Just
yeah,
let
but
somebody-
Long term, for sure.
Long term. Like maybe $300 a month or something.
you could have
like
a
that.
little mini RV park at the back of your property.
After you get to 5 campsites, you have to register at it as a campground in this
So
county.
just do 4.
I need to be at 4. Yeah. No more than 4 campsites.
Maybe 4.5.
Yeah. I mean, is this really a campsite?
Yeah, but how many shipping containers can you have on your land?
There's no rules on that,
Oh,
as far as I know.
That
I think
meeting
they-
was held tonight in Clay County,
Was that the
and
birthday
those people
party?
got their variance.
They did?
No, we were just checking in on it. Yep.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because nobody complained about it, or just they had-
I'm guessing there was a pretty good turnout at the meeting of people saying, "You guys are dumb.
this is a
Clay
dumb
County
rule.
shouldn't have opinions about that."
Yeah.
And it made them, peer pressured them into letting it go. Because the other thing is like Jimmy was saying, apparently the codes enforcer guy has recently gone from part-time to full-time, and so had
Mhm.
time on his hands to go do things, like needed to find things to fill his time, and has been wandering around finding violations. I bet
Isn't
they
that the
also got a
worst?
drone.
Yeah.
I bet they got a drone too. Because I've never seen a shipping container when I've driven past that place.
no. You see them over there by your house, though.
Well, yeah, and I don't care.
Right.
I think that guy should be able to have one.
Mm-hmm.
If you live
I
out
think
in
he
the
should be able
country
to have a
and you
whole-
can fit one on your land,
Yeah. Well, Jerry's son, which son? Justin. Justin just put in a welding shop out off of 50 Highway. And
did he go 2 containers in a roof?
no, he has like it's probably a 50 by 80 or a 50 by 100 steel building, nice red iron building.
Mhm.
He's gonna put like a little apartment in it, and when he gets married, he's gonna have just like a little 2-bedroom apartment in the warehouse deal, like on the 2nd floor. Well, the next door neighbor allows a guy to store shipping containers, like it's weird. It's like a Mennonite guy or something. And so he had his containers parked more or less on Justin's lot that Justin bought to build his building on. And so he talked to the owner of the other business, and the other business owner's like, "Oh, well, that's this other guy. I rent him the space to park his containers there." And he's like, "Well, he's got them on my property, and I'm not renting him any space, basically." And
Mhm.
the dude was like having a conniption that he was wanting them moved. He's like, I want a survey and all this kind of stuff before I'm going to move them. And it's like, dude, like the corners of the lot are flagged. We can literally just run a string between the corners, and it's going to have to go around your shipping containers. I'm starting to build this building. He was literally done with the building before the guy finally like got out there and moved the containers off of them. And he was just like, I don't understand why you have to have these moved off of you. And he's just like, just because it's my lot and I want to plant grass and not have it look like a junkyard. Well, these are good looking containers.
You should have
It's like,
got a torch out and just cut the ends off of them.
and they're not mine. Yeah. So the ultimate problem was that when he moved them 10 feet to get them off of Justin's land, then that extra 10 feet was just enough to where the guy who he was renting the space from can't drive around his building.
Mm.
So the guy was like fine with it while it was basically just half off in somebody else's property. But now the owner of the business is like, well, you can't keep them here now because that 10 feet of free space we were getting for all those years was the only reason I could even, let these things sit here. But last time I drove by there, they were all scooted over the 10 feet. They weren't gone completely. So, yeah.
In Clay County, you have to have them. Oh, wait, no, that was the solar panels. I would imagine it's the same thing. Solar panels have to be 10 feet or 12 feet off the property line. I'm guessing they would say the same about those containers.
Assuming they're permanent, is that what, like, even if they're permanent?
Solar panels? Containers?
Like, containers aren't permanent. So, like, you can't
Right.
necessarily. I think that they would probably categorize them the same as like a shed, though, right?
On skids. And a shed that's not on a foundation or a slab.
If you guys had brought me a chicken shed that was as tough as a container, I'd probably be moving it to my next house with me.
We wouldn't
But-
have brought you one of those. We would have kept it for ourselves.
Yeah. The chicken house that I have is not going to make the move, even though the move is only like 1,000 feet. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We've
hauled
appreciated
that
it a
thing
lot.
30 miles and you can't haul it 200 feet?
About tore it apart hauling it like 20 feet with the tractor last time. It was a lot tougher than you think. Like, well, I say than you think. Who moved it across the city. But like everywhere that I tried to strap onto it, it was like crushing it and knocking the walls in and stuff.
Ah.
Did you experience similar?
No.
No?
Mm.
I think we're gonna do a mobile, like genuinely mobile one this time around.
We
Next
didn't
time around.
drag it. We jacked it up and backed underneath it.
Yeah. I dragged it. And the skids, they wanted to like rip those floor joists over flat.
Mm-hmm.
It did not
Yeah,
work. very well.
you have a flatbed trailer. You could jack it up and back underneath it and move it.
I could do that. That's true. I don't know that I'm going to do that.
That one was a fun one. We backed it. We were backing underneath it, and it was in this kind of awkward spot where it was hard to get the trailer squared up, and it was also hard to get it jacked up high enough. And so we ended up bracing against some trees and just backing it up and letting the trees hold it and push it up
Hold it.
onto the
Mm-hmm.
trailer.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, the last shed we did was much easier. It was a better trailer.
For
And
a
less
better
distance.
trailer for that,
Mm-hmm.
or a better trailer generally.
It was a tilt. It was a tilt trailer.
Oh, okay. When I built that tiny cabin, I called a couple of places that hauled tiny tough sheds and stuff, and asked them how wide the chocks or the skids needed to be to
Mhm.
go up onto one of those, and
Mhm.
based my design basically off of what they said that they could move easily. Because I
Mhm.
figured worst case scenario, I would have to haul that thing somewhere, and I would just hire one of those dudes with the big old, I guess it's like a flatbed semi. It's not even a tandem. It's just part of the semi that they'll move those on sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like a rollback?
Kind of like a rollback. Yeah. Where, yeah, it's a flatbed that kind of rolls off the end of it, and then they pull it partly up onto it, and then they pull the whole thing back on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a rollback? Is that what you mean?
I would think. Are you talking about like the dumpster style?
No, it's more like a flatbed than like the rollers like a dumpster deal has.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I mean, that's kind of what they delivered my shipping container on, except it was like a semi with whatever you call it, with a trailer, and the trailer had a pair of wheels, or maybe a triplicate of wheels, where the wheels could move closer or farther from the truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool.
They are cool. Yep.
Dude, it's 11:30.
It is.
I'm feeling pretty average at 11:30 tonight, guys.
Well, before we go, since it's
Okay.
Memorial Day and all,
I don't know. We're gonna read the names.
Let's read all
just
of them.
one. Just one.
Oh, just one name. Okay.
Yeah. Phil Robertson.
But was Phil Robertson in the military, or was
He
Cy?
was.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was? Did
Both
he die
of
of
them
his
were.
injuries?
I think
Yep.
he died of being, I don't know what he died of.
Alzheimer's.
He had a blood disease
I thought he had Alzheimer's.
and Alzheimer's.
Phil?
Yeah. Yeah, I looked it up. He's been struggling with a blood disease for the last like 3 years, and Alzheimer's for the last
Did he get it in Vietnam?
probably.
Because if he got it when he was over there, Dan be all right with us reading his
I'd
name.
be all right with it. Yeah.
I was trying to get Jimmy to lower his flag to half mast, but he didn't.
Are you running your flag upside down and at half mast now that Phil's gone?
Well, it's been upside down since January.
January 6th,
20th.
20th?
Yeah.
It's January 6th.
It was
Of
January 20th.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
January 6th.
Did you start that book at all, Darcy? Did you start
No, because I have had a book on hold at the library that came due or
Mhm.
came up, so I borrowed it and I have that book on hold also.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I clicked to borrow it and I'm on a wait list.
Yeah, me too.
That's wild that you're on a wait list for a book from 1997.
I'm fifth in line.
What?
Okay, so how did you hear about it? Podcast?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember what podcast.
I bet it has more viewers than ours.
It wasn't ours because you guys didn't know about it. Because if it was our podcast that I heard about it on, then and you guys don't know about it,
Yeah.
then that's kind of like a loop, like a we're in a
Inception type stuff.
Inception type death loop with the future or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jimmy, were you telling me about Paradise, the
We talked
TV
about
show?
it last week, Dan and I both.
I have seen it. Yeah.
I started watching it.
What
Um,
what do you mean started? Like, do you know about the secrets yet?
the TV show?
No, do you know, like, in how far you've gone, do you know anything that's going on yet?
No,
No.
I'm on like the third episode.
Oh yeah, you're not like you don't have any idea what's happening yet at all.
No, there's just subtle clues that you're gonna figure out something pretty soon.
Yeah, and they're barely even that kind of at that point, 3 in. Yeah.
Yeah, it changes a lot from episode 3 to episode like 7 or whatever I'm on now. It's like a completely different show.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's some stuff at the middle end that doesn't make very much sense. Like just isn't none of it's realistic, but like very unrealistic and like comically unrealistic in some but the storyline like does hold up. Like the
Right.
idea holds up is what is interesting.
Yep.
So yeah. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, too bad you can't think of where you heard about that book, because I bet it was on a podcast, and I bet other people listened to it, and that's why there's
my first million.
5 people.
I bet it was my first million. They're probably interviewing somebody who read it. Oh, maybe the Sean Ryan show. Do people listen to
If
that?
it was Sean Ryan, then everybody's trying to
Dude, he's like second to Joe Rogan, I think. I mean, not actually, but
I don't understand. How is that guy not part of the cabinet yet? I don't get it.
Sean Ryan.
Yeah. Like, why isn't he like in Washington now? You got old Dan Bongino like running cover for the CIA now and stuff, you know? Never thought I'd see that happen. I don't think it was the Sean Ryan show, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it was probably My First Million.
Okay.
You guys ever listen to My First Million?
No, never heard of it.
It's actually pretty funny. Like it's not like all about money and stuff. I mean, it kind of is because they're both of the guys are like internet millionaires, but it's really just kind of like funny, like guys who I don't know, like what they do, I guess, probably, and have young kids and families and like are trying to figure out like, do I need another $10 million or do I need to spend more time with my kids? You know, not trying to figure it out. They've pretty much already decided. They're like, nah, I don't need another $10 million. I need to spend time with my wife and kids. Like, yeah, it's true. All right.
That's where I'm at too.
I could use another 10 mil.
How much of the time that you spend
Yeah.
doing all the things you do
Everybody.
now would you give up for 10 mil though? Any of it? Was that your answer? I couldn't tell.
A subtle Bob.
I don't understand. Was that no? None of it?
I just need the 10 mil.
Yeah, but you're not willing to give anything up for it.
I don't know.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to figure out then.
Yep.
Oh.
Great. Well, now that we figured that out. All right. Well,
I'm gonna
I
go to
guess
bed.
that's the show.
Me too.
Sounds good. I
Yeah.
am too. But
Have a
I'm
good-
going to commit to getting a bunch more episodes uploaded to Spotify this week.
Okay,
Perfect.
I've
All right,
gotten
sounds good.
far enough behind that. So Riverside archives episodes after a while, and so I've gotten far enough behind that I had to wait. I had to go in and like restore all of these episodes before I could post them or
Mhm.
edit them and all that. So I had to do that. Now I'm caught up to where there are no more. Well, unless any happened, there's probably one more because I bet it's like this week. Oh, I might be far enough ahead, but I don't have any more archives. But we'll see. I'll get caught up, and then we'll have like 50 episodes.
And they say
on
if you get to
Spotify.
100 episodes, then
Then you have 100 episodes on Spotify.
you have 100 episodes. You know, that's what they say.
Yeah,
That's what they say.
yeah.
I've heard them say that in mathematicians and
If I've heard him
non-mathematicians
say it
alike.
once,
Then I've
I've
heard
heard
them
him
say
say
it more than once. Yeah.
But anyway.
All right.
Oh, I went over 100 followers on YouTube. Or subscribers. I'm
go!
at 103.
That's big time.
Let's go.
Trying to catch up to you, Dan.
Nice. Well,
What are you
I
at now?
lost
didn't-
one this week because I haven't posted.
We didn't
one.
do our YouTube update.
I'm down to 132. That's what I can tell you. And I've only
Nice.
posted one short in the last like couple weeks. I don't think that the shorts do me a lot of good, but I should probably at least post some shorts while I'm working because
Yeah.
just to have something going on there. Oh,
Mhm.
dude. Did you find that when you framed, you just were always cut up and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I was bleeding out of this one yesterday, and the boys were like, "What did you do to your hand?" I'm like, I don't really know, and I can't feel it, so
No,
it's
you don't
probably
know.
fine. I don't know what it was. There's like
Yeah.
wood.
How are
and
you going to keep
hangers.
track of that?
Like, I literally was like, somebody's bleeding on everything, guys. Like clean yourself up, get a Band-Aid. And then I'm like, wait,
You're like,
I'm
wait,
bleeding
I'm
on
the only one
everything.
here.
One of you guys is bleeding all around me.
One of you guys is bleeding everywhere. What is going on? Like, yeah.
All
All right. Night, guys.
right. Good night, internet.